good afternoon. I'm on site here at Embedded World 2022 and joining me today is Tobias and Thomas from Phoenix Contact. So thank you very much for joining me. We're going to be talking about Phoenix Contact's housing solutions. So your website has a strong focus on providing customers with the ability to customize their electronics housing. And this brings me to your webpage for hardware configuration called the Configurator for Electronics Housing. Could you walk me through the configurator and particularly what it is, how it's used and how you found that users have benefited from it?
Sure. First of all, let me say we want to really make life for our engineers easier by also offering this kind of configurator. So meaning 24/7 global availability, localization through local language, and also helping them to making their design most profitable.
The benefit of our customer is expert in electronic and in software. And we help the customer with electromechanic. And not only with the empty box, also with connection technology, with the bus system and so on. And to make it quite easy for the customer, we have a configurator. This is application-based. So if the customer knows, I need someone for the field, I take a field enclosure. Or I take someone for the switch cabinet, I take a switch cabinet enclosure. Here is an example for a switch cabinet enclosure. And the customer can step very easy inside. So the first decision is, yes, I take an IP20 enclosure, IP20. Then he can choose between different varieties of form factors, of sizes and so on. And the good electronic developer knows, I need this size of PCB. I need, for example, this size of connection technology, this kind of connection points. And so he chooses then maybe step inside one of the family. Then he will be guided quite automatically. First to that, what is the PCB size? Then you choose the PCB size, 1 or 2 PCBs in the enclosure. The next step is then, what kind of upper part? Maybe it's ask a question of design. So he wants to have with a window here, with a display integrated and so on. Then the next question is, how many connection points? What kind of cross-section of the wires? Is there a data connector and so on? He can choose, plug and play or pull down in our working bench and place them in the working bench. And so it will be followed by a 3D model. And at least if the complete enclosure is configured, the customer gets the 3D model as really 3D model to download for his own CAD system. Then he gets a data sheet. And what very important is the outline of the PCB, so that the customer can go step direct inside his CAD system and can lay out the PCB. And this is a perfect solution for the customer because there is no need of explanation. It's guided through the complete configurator. And this is what we like and what the customer like. Not for us, the customer is the most important person in our company, and he likes this.
Yeah, fantastic. It sounds really simple to use and great. So further focusing on your engagement with customers, which obviously is very important to you, the company provides a variety of materials on making the most of housings. So what is your advice for anyone who wishes to implement electrical housings that are safe, secure and reliable?
Mostly we have plastic, but so different kind of plastic, different varieties. For technical applications, it's most nylon or PA66, PA66 with different ingredients like with glass fiber and so on. Or also we have polycarbonate. And for outdoor, we have for our outdoor enclosures special material that is UV resistant. It's UL listed, and it's very important if it's out, the sun shines on, it must take, the duration is more than 20 years. And also we have metal enclosures in place, but mostly it's plastic because from the insulation part. But it depends at least on the application, what kind of application the customer has. We have, for example, for the outdoor, we have a lot of photovoltaic applications for them. Or for tracking systems on trailers and so on, we have enclosures. And this makes the complete system from the material side very interesting. But what we do, and this is very important on this place here, I will show it on this enclosure here. This enclosure has all in, and is from one-hand shopping or one-stop shopping. That means the customer can buy the box, they can buy the upper part, they can buy the connection technology, a bus system, also here an integrated display system, and at least what's quite new is also an integrated cooling system and heatsink. And this makes a complete things round so that we supply to the customer not only an empty box, we apply them a solution. We call it some housing solution, but in English it's more enclosure solution, but we say with German English housing solution.
Brilliant. So when it, sorry.
Let me add that. So it's not only the enclosure we have in the portfolio, so it's about more than 50,000 standard products we have in that. So of course the enclosure is quite important for the device, but even also we can have and offer the variety of connection technology for transmitting data, power, signals into the housing and on the board then.
Yeah.
Spatial data is just, I say, on vogue, because there's no device, electronic device, is without an RG45, without a data connector, with an SPE in future, or also other data connectors, because IoT is the keyword and everyone is working on IoT systems.
Yep.
It is the fact.
Yeah, it's definitely a buzzword. Hearing a lot of this show today.
Yes.
So when it comes to design challenges then, such as sort of electromagnetic interference, electrical shock risks and so on, there are of course some applications and scenarios that are harder to provide protection than others. So what do you find are the most challenging applications and industry areas when it comes to manufacturing sort of housings, electronics and other electronics equipment?
First of all, I think we have to say that each and every application industry has their own requirements, and normally these kind of enclosures are developed for a specific application in industry, and also more or less or very often used for years already in this application. So this is an advantage. Maybe Thomas, you can share a little bit more about the technical details.
The bigger question is, yes, the interference of EMC and so on, but the last years comes more and more cooling, the temperature problem, because the devices are smaller and smaller in future and today, and the electronic power is higher then. And so there come a lot of customers to us and ask, it is possible that we can integrate in your enclosure and heatsink? We say, yes, we can do, but please help yourself. But we don't say help yourself to the customer, we say, yes, we can help you. And we help the customer. On one hand, the digital way don't stop also on the development of electronic enclosures or electronic devices. We supply to the customer a thermal simulation that you can do it as customer online on the configurator. What I mentioned in the beginning for the first question, the customer can configure his own enclosure, and if he has done his work, then he can press a button, engineering. And on the engineering side is then an online thermal simulator. It's only a small version of the big one, and he can place 3 or 4, up to 4 heat hotspots, thermal hotspots, and the customer gets within 24 hours the result of his hotspots, and we say them, yes, it's okay, you can work without a heatsink, or we make a suggestion that you have to use a heatsink for this. And in that case, is one. If the customer is not satisfied with this, but it's too hot in the closure, then we supply them also, here's an integrated heatsink inside. So that means the customer develop his own device, his own PCB, very often with a single board computer, very often with a SOM board integrated, and on a SOM board is a chip that needs cooling. And here is then a complete system, cooling, enclosure in one system, looks nice. I say it looks nice, you have to say it looks nice.
It does look nice.
Good, thank you. So, and this is what we send to the customer. Yes, you have not an adaptive heatsink, you have an integrated heatsink. And this is a solution. On one hand, the thermal simulation, the engineering part, and on the second hand, then an integrated heatsink in the solution. And so it makes the complete thing round for the customer.
Yeah, I love the options that you're giving customers as well, and it just seems so simple to be able to, customize what they want.
Yes,
sounds fantastic.
Of course.
Okay, so going into more detail on the durability of electrical hardware, sort of a key principle of electronics, particularly in the modern age, is electronic waste or e-waste. So what do you believe that Phoenix Contact's equipment can do to mitigate the problems of e-waste? Tough question.
The keyword for today is sustainability.
Yes.
And I feel from the business side and also from the environmental side, it comes up like a tsunami to us. 2 years ago, no one talked about sustainability. Yes, it is If you look on the homepage of the companies, of the supplier companies, and so they, yes, it's under compliance is one sentence about sustainability, but now it comes more and more. And we see it. It comes close. Here in Germany, we have had last year this flood in North Rhine-Westphalia and so on. And now it was so close that we have to do things. Yes, and that means for our design, for our enclosures, we have to take them. In that case, we call them design to sustainability.
Okay.
That we reduce plastic material, that we reduce metal material if it's possible, that we design in this case that is dismountable, the complete system, after maybe 20 years of use, that our customer, in case of recycling, that they send us back to us and we can reuse the plastic material, we can reuse the metal material. This is one thing what we do today. And the second one is that we have to provide our customer in our data sheets about the carbon dioxide footprint. And in this case, Tobias knows a lot about this because he is our internal expert of this.
Oh, here we go.
We could probably talk about hours for that, but let me maybe add to the sustainability discussion one important topic. So for us, it has become one of the key cornerstones for our company strategy. So for example, as of this year, we operate carbon neutral globally, which was a big step for us to reduce CO2 on the one hand side, but also optimize processes. And during these days, we are really working also with suppliers, sub-suppliers, to get to this net zero footprint by 2030, which we also feel is part of the sustainability discussion and the responsibility we have to take as a company.
Yeah.
This is one of the big questions, because in our own factory, we know exactly, for example, a plastic molding press. We know exactly how many electric energy comes in. We know how many water comes in. We know how resin, this raw material of plastic, comes in. But what we have to know is our supply chain. And plastic starts with the oil in, for example, Saudi Arabia. Then it will be transported to Rotterdam. Then it comes to the complete process of then make from oil, in this process, raw material of plastic. And then comes to us. And this complete chain, our customer has to know the complete CO2 footprint of the complete chain. And now we have to work hard on this to figure out the complete CO2 on one product. It's important for us, for our future.
Definitely. And I love the fact that you're focusing on sustainability, not just for yourselves, but for your customers as well. You know, it's important to focus on both of those things. Right, fantastic. So is there anything else you'd like to discuss around the solutions you're offering, or any particular products you'd like to highlight?
This is the next step, because we have in our catalog enclosures, like our competitor has also enclosures in our catalog. But what we do a little bit step more. What I mentioned, explain with the thermal simulation and engineering, what we supply to the customer, we supply also solution to the customer. That means if the customer likes this kind of enclosure here, but he don't likes this upper part here, it looks like solar furnace contact, and it's not so my design. The customer can step inside also our configurator and can step, when the choosing of this upper part, he can go to it's a very simple 3D system and can modify his own upper part here in the 3D and can send them to us. And we have the company is called Protic, it's a Finnish contract company. They do a printed version of his own design, so that it looks like if you buy a car, you will not have the same car like your neighbor has. You will have some extras. And this is possible with our configurator, so you can configure your upper part on your own. And this is not enough. If the space, it's 10 millimeter too small and the quantity is big enough, then we say, customer, we do a special version for you. We do a special plastic mold for you, so that you can supply, or we can supply you a really custom solution from our hand. And also integrated what we mentioned with connection technology, with display and so on. And this is a big focus we have in future, because everyone will have his individual device.
Maybe Thomas says it quite well. So, and I said at the beginning, being there for our customer, making life easier, that's what we are aiming for. So it's not only about meeting at shows like this, meeting on our booth, meeting at Digi-key. It's even more about being in touch with the customer where he wants us, on social media, on CD tools. And this is what we are aiming for. And of course, in addition to the products, the service we are offering to customers is really one of the key aspects.
And to the customer, don't hesitate to contact us. We are sitting in North Rhine-Westphalia, in Blomberg, is not the center of Germany. It's more our American colleagues say, is in the middle of nowhere. But nevertheless, we have teams.
Yes.
We have
Yeah, definitely.
we have different digital ways to contact to the customer, and also we have our design department in Harrisburg, in US, in Pennsylvania, and we have also a design department in Nanjing, close to Shanghai, in China. So all over the world we are available, and we have their teams, the design engineering teams. We have production teams there. So don't hesitate to contact us worldwide. We help you.
Brilliant. Well, thank you both for your insights today. I can tell the customer is really important to you. So yeah, I've really enjoyed speaking with you both, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.